Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Auntie Derek's Daytime Tea, where we discuss the latest celebrity tea in the news. And we do it live every weekday starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at auntiederek.com. I'm your host, Auntie Derek, and today is Friday, August 21st. Happy Friday, everyone, and a special happy birthday shout out to my Aunt Ida May. Happy birthday, Aunt Ida. So you know it's not a good thing to tell a woman's age, on a public forum. But let's just say this woman has lived and she's lived a lot of life. So she happens to be my grandma's oldest sister. And she's like the connection to the fest. So shout out to my auntie. I love you, boo, and wish you many, 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 many more birthdays. So with me on the mic, I have my fabulous co-host. So we're gonna start with my gorgeous moon. Hey, boo. Well, Gorgeous Moon might be currently doing some life stuff at the moment, so she'll chime in when she can. And next, we have my Icy Chili. Hello, my love.
Hey there.
Hey there. And next, we have the incomparable Libra Queen. Hey, cutie. The Libra Queen might be doing some life.
Hey!
I was like, might be doing some life stuff too. And it's all good.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, cutie pie. And what a lot of people don't understand is like my co-hosts really be. I love y'all, so thank you so much because a lot of them don't realize y'all be working and talking to me at the same time. So I truly appreciate that. And what I also appreciate are the listeners in the chat and the comments on the social media posts. Keep them coming, baby. Y'all have some really interesting comments. But I have some interesting tea that we can go ahead and sip. So let's go ahead and jump right in.
Tea time.
Yes, let's go ahead and get the Tootsie Roll news out the way, y'all. You know
Oh
there's
my God. Enough Tootsie Rolls for the week.
You- it's all. But remember, we talked yesterday, and we learned that he was named in the court case. He was named as one of the people who attempted to have Tupac assassinated. He tried to pay someone to have it done, and that was talked about. But he, of course, is coming out and denying that. And you all see where I just shared here by way of TMZ. Diddy had absolutely nothing to do with Tupac's murder, despite trial testimony, sources say. So let's get into it, honey. Sean Diddy Combs was name dropped during the Tupac Shakur murder trial when a former LAPD detective testified Diddy tried but failed to pay for Tupac's execution, a wild allegation folks in Diddy camp call bogus. In response to the bombshell testimony, sources close to the imprisoned mogul tell TMZ Diddy had absolutely nothing to do with the Tupac murder. He did not pull the trigger or set it up. It would be a waste of time if prosecutors ever called him as a witness. Here's the backstory. On Wednesday, ex LAPD detective Darren Dupree testified in court that he interviewed Dwayne Keefe D. Davis regarding the 1997 murder of rapper Christopher Biggie Smalls Wallace in LA. Dupree testified Davis said he had nothing to do with Biggie's murder, but instead offered details about the Tupac fatal shooting, including an allegation about Diddy. He testified Diddy supposedly owed money to Davis and was supposed to turn over the cash to an associate, Zip, who would then give the money to Davis for payment of the Tupac murder. Dupree said the money never reached Davis. He testified Davis told him he could rekindle that relationship with Mr. Zip Martin and talk about the money that was given from Sean Puffy Combs to Mr. Martin that never got to Mr. Davis. On the stand, Dupree also said Davis told him Diddy solicited Tupac's murder during a conversation at Greenblatt's Deli in Los Angeles. We've reached out to Diddy's camp. So far, no word back. And day 5 of testimony in the Tupac murder trial gets underway today. All right. So, yeah, day 5 of the trial, honey, and we gonna see. I mean, look, Keefe, Mr. Keefe D, you would have not been here had you not been running your mouth. You the one went on interviews, you the one went on podcasts, you the one wrote a book, and now he want to walk it back, be like, oh no, I was just, I'm no twin belly. Y'all know I be playing. Girl, but if the feds don't think you playing, honey, and that's why you sitting in court in prison now. Well, I will continue to follow this. Oh, and also, Lil Durk's trial just started today. Oh, was it? No, I think it just started yesterday. I think the 20th was when it started. So I'm gonna be following that too. I haven't seen anything like come up major yet, but I will be watching. Honey. Well, Diddy was apparently maybe he watched that documentary And of course, that's why he sued NBC Universal, its director. But they actually asked 50 Cent what he thought about Diddy's lawsuit about the documentary. Because remember, his big headed ass was executive producer on that documentary. And you all should see I just shared here by way of all hip hop. 50 Cent addresses Diddy countersuit over Netflix footage claims. I don't know why that was a tongue twister. But 50 Cent isn't sweating Diddy's latest legal move, and he made that crystal clear at a Manhattan event this week. The executive producer of Netflix's Sean Combs' The Reckoning sat down to address the countersuit Diddy filed against producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, alleging that stolen footage ended up in the documentary. When asked about the lawsuit, 50 Cent kept it simple. He wasn't named in it, and he thinks the whole thing is performative at best. I wasn't named in the lawsuit, 50 Cent said at the Planet Hollywood celebration in New York City. To be honest, I think it's postural. The comment came months after Diddy threatened legal action against Netflix before the series dropped in December 2025, but ultimately never followed through with the suit against the streaming giant. Diddy's countersuit specifically targets Jones, accusing him of stealing private footage intended for Combs' own documentary project and selling it to Netflix. The lawsuit also claims Jones made defamatory statements during his on camera interviews for the series. Despite the legal drama swirling around the project, 50 Cent expressed genuine satisfaction with how the documentary came out. He praised director Alexandria Stapleton for her work on the four-part series, saying she brought authenticity to the material without forcing anything. She made something that didn't feel forced in any way, he explained, and people really appreciated it, excuse me. The series went on to earn 3 Emmy nominations, including Outstanding Directing, Outstanding Documentary for or Nonfiction Series, and Outstanding Picture Editing. 50 Cent confirmed he'll be attending the Primetime Creative Arts Emmy Awards in Los Angeles this September. And beyond the documentary, 50 Cent has been on a business expansion kick that's hard to ignore. And then it goes on to talk about like his businesses that we didn't want to. We know 50 Cent is rich and got his hands in a bunch of stuff, so we don't need to finish this article. But, that's what he said. So he's not in the lawsuit, and he feels like it's performative. And if anyone knows anything about being performative, it is Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Well, that is that on that. Y'all, this story how about this story just broke right before we started the show today, honey. Girl, Kim and Croy, get your son. We not gonna have no lifetime of this shit. And you all should see what I've just shared here by way of TMZ. Kim Zolciak, Corey Bierman's son, arrested for alleged aggravated sodomy, sexual battery. Y'all.
Wait a minute.
Uh,
They
uh,
son is that old?
yes,
Oh,
he's a teenager now.
oh my God. Hey, everybody.
Hey, boo.
Sorry I missed my introduction.
It's all good. I told him that you was out there lifing.
Child, yeah. Ooh, kids. Oh, teenager acting a fool. Mm.
Girl.
I thought they had little kids. Oh, damn. I didn't realize they were teenagers.
Because I guess we don't really realize like how much time has passed. Because when you think about it, yeah. Because when did their first reality show come out? Like when the kids were really really young. That had to been what like maybe 2012, 2013 or so, maybe even
I
2011.
didn't realize they'd been together that long. I just was like Big Papa for the longest. Then she was with him, but I thought like their kids were like 8, 9, 10. I didn't realize they were that old.
Yeah. And the
Okay.
son that these allegations are against is the one that's named after Corey. So it's Corey Bierman Jr., who we'll be talking about today. Mm. Well, Kim Zolciak and Corey Bierman's teenage son is in police custody for alleged aggravated sodomy and aggravated sexual battery after a girl claimed he assaulted her inside a gym changing area, TMZ has learned. According to court docs obtained by TMZ, an officer was dispatched to North Fulton Hospital on April 24, 2026 for a reported sexual assault. Police say the alleged victim, a teenage classmate of Croy and Kim's son, and her father claimed the incident occurred one day earlier inside a nearby gym. Cops say the girl told them she was hanging out at the gym when she saw her friend Croy Bierman Jr., and they eventually went into a co ed sauna. In the police report, she claimed Croy Jr. started to get touchy with her, and she told him no, but he continued and at one point forced her mouth on his penis. She also alleges he digitally penetrated her vagina. Police launched an investigation, and an officer says he began attempting to contact Croy Sr. on May 14. The officer says he spoke with him on May 18, and Croy Sr. said he would discuss the matter with Kim. Croy Jr. was arrested on August 17 and remains in custody. The police report notes the alleged victim was examined at at a hospital, and doctors did not find evidence of male DNA in her mouth or vagina. We've reached out to Kim and Croy for comment. So far, no word back. And I'm gonna actually share my screen because they had actually have a picture of Croy Jr. So this is our Croy Jr. here. So you see he's a tall one. He's tall just like his daddy, it looks like. Well, taller than Kim at least. So this is him. Now, and what one interesting thing was how they said the police report notes the alleged victim was examined at a hospital and doctors did not find evidence of male DNA in her mouth or vagina. So, but they were also in a sauna, right? So it probably was. Well, I don't know, child. But y'all need to have a serious talking to. You better talk to his ass, Croy, for them inmates talk to him, and that is that on that. Keep your hands to yourselves. Oh my gosh. Okay, girl. Well, not good news for Chris Brown, honey. In this next story I have by way of TMZ, you all should see where it says Chris Brown, ex-housekeeper, wins right to collect cut of his tour income over $13 million debt. Girl.
That's why they added them extra dates.
Uh-huh. That was the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, that's why they added all them extra dates, honey. He need to make that money on.
So she taking my money. God damn it.
Mhm. Well, this starts. Some of the money Chris Brown is pulling in from his uber successful nationwide tour with Usher could land in his former housekeeper's pocket soon. A Los Angeles judge ruled she has a right to collect her judgment from what he's bringing in on tour, TMZ has learned. Court docs obtained by TMZ reveal the judge presiding over Maria Avila's lawsuit granted her request to assign money Chris gets from royalties and tour income to satisfy the $13 million judgment she won in her dog attack case against him. Chris objected to the request, but the judge apparently wasn't swayed. Unclear if Chris will ask for a reconsideration or appeal the ruling. As TMZ first reported, Chris was ordered to pay Maria the eight-figure sum after she won her lawsuit over a vicious dog attack at his LA home in 2020. The singer denied allegations of wrongdoing, but a jury found Chris liable for the attack. A judge was not swayed. I was like, we ain't trying to hear it. Give her money, and if you make enough from that tour, give it to her. We don't want to hear it. Well, that is that on that. And what we got next? Oh, a not so good update with John Paris. So remember, we learned what 2 Saturdays ago that he was taken to the hospital. They responded to what was a cardiac arrest at the hospital. Well, you also see I've just shared here by way of TMZ. Earth, Wind, and Fire's John Paris woke up from coma and needs two surgeries. Well, John Paris has got a ways to go on his road to recovery, involving two major surgeries, according to a new update on his condition. In a new post, the Standing for John Paris Facebook page shared that the Earth, Wind, and Fire drummer woke up again from his coma, and this time was stable enough for doctors to evaluate him. According to the update, the doctors ran some additional tests and determined that John will need two major surgeries. This means the musician will be in the ICU longer than everyone had hoped while recovering from his scary medical emergency. According to the Post, John's wife, Kathy Merrick, shared, this journey is definitely a marathon, but JP is fighting every single day and our hope is strong. As you know, John suffered a medical emergency earlier this month and was put in an induced coma at the hospital. Over the weekend, Earth, Wind, and Fire's Ralph Johnson said their drummer's going to be fine. Oh, and TMZ ends with we're wishing John a speedy and safe recovery. Yes, we do. We definitely do wish him a speedy and safe recovery. But I hate that he got to be in the ICU longer than expected, but better there than in the coffin. So, Well, that's that on that. We wish you well, Mr. Paris. And girl, let's talk about Anthony Edwards, honey. Oh my God. I'm says y'all gonna learn, honey, that breeding kink gonna cost you. And you all should see I have just shared here by way of TMZ. NBA's Anthony Edwards ordered to pay child support for kid he says he never met. So let's get into it and let's get into the amount that this woman is going to be paid, honey. So NBA star Anthony Edwards is now on the hook for $14,000 a month in child support to his ex, Alexandria Desroches. And the money is for a kid he claims he's never even met. According to court docs obtained by TMZ, the amount was determined based on the Minnesota Timberwolves guard's monthly income of nearly $4.8 million. Dollars. And the figure represents a massive increase over the baseline amount of around $3,200 per month. Alexandria was asking for a higher amount in child support. The docs say Alexandria pulls in around $1,016 per month. She testified that she hopes to complete her college education to better support the child. The court noted that Anthony has enough money to spend 31,000 on food, 70,000 on entertainment, and 30,000 on vacations every month. In addition to child support, the judge ordered Anthony to take out a life insurance policy worth around $2.6 million with Alexandria named as the primary beneficiary and pay Alexandria's legal fees totaling more than $21,000. Alexandria and Anthony share a son named Amir, born in 2023. The docs note Anthony admitted under oath that he's never met his son in person and is not seeking to have parenting time with the kid. As TMZ first reported, Anthony was ordered to pay $3,000 a month to his other baby mama, Aisha Howard, over their daughter. And they say, kids, they ain't cheap. And they are not indeed, honey. Look, $14,000 a month that you got to pay for your breeding kink.
How
Ooh,
you gonna state that you for a kid that you've never seen because of you?
girl.
I have no respect for this guy. Like, it has gotten so bad. Like, what the fuck? Any woman, well, if y'all run up behind this nigga, y'all so silly. And now he married to the girl he been cheating on the whole time, and he only claimed her baby. Oh God! Although the judge did do that right by that life insurance. We were talking about this offline, but I hope it sounds like she's a little bit smarter. She's trying to complete school, so that sounds good. There's a life insurance policy, that's cool. Um, but ugh, Jesus, he is a sorry piece of shit, and
Mhm.
that's it's so disappointing. It's so disappointing that he is this bad. Like, yo, who raised you? I hate who raised you. What the
Child,
fuck?
I'm just get Alexandria girl, let me borrow $20. Cause
Mm,
girl,
This,
14K a month.
I hope does wisely and makes sure the baby has therapy and does whatever it needs and the love and because girl, this is a hot fucking bowl of mess and he is terrible.
Yes, honey. Look, you know, I said offline, honey. The first when I first read the story, the first thing I could think of was that Golden Girls episode when they was in the supermarket. Condoms, Rose. Condoms, condoms, condoms. But we know you
Mm-mm.
niggas don't like condoms. The numbers
But
show.
don't like the kids either. Wow,
Mhm. And don't like to
that's
get checked for STIs and stuff. Girl, girl. Mm,
these niggas are something. I mean, and he's something else. I think he's like top tier king shit. Like I ain't seen nobody do it like him. Like my God. Mm, 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 mm.
well, that is that on that, honey. Hun, I need both Jamie Foxx and Al Pacino to both sit their asses down. I was about to say old asses, but I decided I'm gonna be nice. But well, Al
For
Pacino
what?
and because you know how Jamie Foxx got that young white girl pregnant, right?
No, I'm saying being nice for what?
Oh yeah, you're right. You Well, you all should see I've just shared here by way of TMZ. Jamie Foxx says Al Pacino made him feel better about having a baby at 58. You and Al Pacino need to see, and Robert De Niro, sit y'all asses down. And this is look, I have to say, when that girl, so when it was a tweet of mine that went viral, when I was pretty much saying how Al Pacino and Robert De Niro are irresponsible for having newborns in their 80s. I was actually called a eugenicist because of that statement. Now, I have been called a lot of things, but never a eugenicist. So that kind of took me back a little. I was like, eugenicist. But I'm if that makes me a eugenicist, then so freaking be it. Because no, this is very irresponsible. It's now 58 is not as irresponsible as 80, but it's still irresponsible. But anyway, there's a clip in this article that we're about that's a little over a minute long that we're about to watch, and he talks about how pretty much Al inspired him to have a baby with that little white girl. So let me share my screen. It's bullshit.
That's all he make babies with is white girls.
Wake that up.
Mm.
Being my age, I was a little on the fence, being 58, but then I ran into Al Pacino a few months ago. I said, Al, here, hi, Jamie, good to see you. I was worried about you. I said, well, Al, what you doing? I'm having a baby. I said, Al, how old are you? 84. I said, Al, you gonna be back in the drop-off line? 84 years old, back in the drop-off line. I said, oh man, shoot, I'm good.
Hmm. That shit is not cute. 84 years old in
No.
a damn drop up line.
Or
Yeah.
funny at all.
No. Mm-hmm. Weird.
Wasn't even funny.
And I'm sorry, Jamie, you're never beating those allegations. We have yet to ever see you with a black woman. I know you try to make it seem like you like all women, but I ain't never heard of Jamie dating a black woman ever. But I guess he like what he like.
Like what he like, and that's why with his history. That's why now, not saying, not negating this girl's allegations, because it possibly could have happened, but it was just really hard for me to believe it happened. But simply because the girl was dark skinned, right? Because she said that Jamie sexually assaulted her at a party or something in New York, allegedly, and told her that she looked like Gabrielle Union. I was like, she looked like Gabrielle Union, and Jamie Foxx tried to touch her. I don't know. So, but it very well could have, because men are predatory. But I'm just with what we have seen, he likes him a mid. I don't even think he loves him a mid white woman, honey. So and for me, and
And I don't even know if we could say mid. What's below mid? Because they don't be nothing to look at. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
A man of his stature and fame, and that's what he be choosing. I was like, God damn, my nigga, Jesus.
Yeah, I do like Corinne though. I like Corinne a lot, especially when she was hosting Beat Shazam. She was just too adorable. I like her.
I mean, yeah, that was first kid. Yeah, she is
Cute.
cute.
A little yin around the
Mhm,
house.
mhm. I mean, you can't fault the children. They just a product of they daddy's. But I'm just saying, it it's a history. It's a pattern. It's what we see. I ain't never in all of his days being out. I ain't never. The only black woman I saw him with was his grandma.
Hmm. And what's crazy about that allegation story? I actually haven't seen. I've been looking. I haven't seen any updates on it in a while, but I'm gonna continue to look to see if there's maybe it's been settled and we don't know anything about it. But I'm gonna continue to looking because this happened what about 3 years ago? I think it's been some time ago. So I'm gonna keep looking. Girl, now this story, honey, because I mean, I don't want to say we've all have embellished on our resumes, but we all, have hyped up ourselves to I wasn't a cashier, I was a customer relations specialist. You know what I'm saying? With stuff like that. That's one thing. But saying that you would let work for an organization that you've never worked in, and an organization that's coming out saying, yeah, this person never worked with us, is wow. This is what's happening with Summer Walker's manager, bitch. Child, y'all should see I have the story here from TMZ, and it tells us Summer Walker's new manager, Aubrey Banks, causes concern due to identity theft and forgery case. Girl, let's get into this, honey. Summer Walker's new manager, Aubrey Banks, is causing concern in her world due to his history of alleged forgery and money problems, plus an allegedly bogus resume, TMZ has learned. Sources close to Interscope tell TMZ there were concerns raised internally regarding a number of false claims made by Aubrey Banks, including that he had previously worked at Interscope Records, which was simply untrue. We're told the fact that he seemingly secured his role with Summer Walker based on numerous fabricated job titles and experience only deepened those concerns. Now that additional allegations of fraudulent activity have come to light, we hope she is aware of his history and the serious questions surrounding his credibility. In 2017, Aubrey was charged with 2 counts of forgery in the first degree and identity theft fraud. He ended up taking a deal where he pled guilty to the forgery charges and was sentenced to 3 years probation. On his LinkedIn, Aubrey said he worked in A&R at Interscope Records from December 2008 to January 2012, but TMZ sources claim Aubrey never worked at the label. TMZ obtained court records showing Aubrey filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy, listing assets totaling $250,000 and liabilities totaling $402,000. He listed his monthly income as $8,250 and his expenses as $7,400. At the time, he said his income was zero, but he earned $8,250 in interest. The filing said he earned $52,000 in 2022. TMZ reached out to Aubrey for comment, but no word back. And they probably not gonna get a word. What he gonna say? He probably gonna say, "Who the hell at Interscope y'all been talking to? Just a hating ass bitch or something like that." But girl, and they was like, "I hope Summer Walker know." That's crazy. What was that line in the statement that had me cracking up? Where is it? We hope she is aware of his history and the serious questions surrounding his credibility. Girl, they say if she don't know, she need to know. Well, that is that on that, honey. I will follow this story and see if anything else comes about. Girl, Kanye West, honey. Yuck. How about he is actually being pressured to if he wants to perform in Russia, he needs to support their invasion to Ukraine. And you all should see I've just shared here by way of hot new hip hop. And it tells us Kanye faces pressure to support Ukraine invasion if he wants to perform in Russia. So it's been a wild run for Kanye West in 2026 as he attempts to repair his public image after years of self sabotage. Bully wasn't the comeback album that he expected, but perhaps it was a starting point for a much longer journey to regaining acceptance from mainstream America. And that might even be a bit more difficult for him in the near future as he prepares to perform in Russia in October. According to All Hip Hop, the upcoming shows in St. Petersburg carry serious weight as he's on pace to be the biggest artist from the Western world to perform in Russia since the invasion of Ukraine. He isn't the first. Lil Pump, Flo Rida, and Jason Derulo have paid visits to the country for performances. He's scheduled to perform on October 11th and 12th at the Gazprom Arena, and tickets sold out rather quickly. Within a few hours, the most expensive tickets, priced at roughly $1,850, had been snapped up, while the cheaper tickets, running for roughly $105, sold out the evening they went on sale, The Guardian reports. Despite the demand, there's some pushback against his presence from within Russia. There are conservatives who hope to cut off the influence of the Western world. On top of that, supporting Nazism itself is a crime that can lead to severe prison time. And while Kanye's performance can provide some semblance of positive PR in the midst of sanctions and boycotts, there are politicians who are calling for an investigation into Kanye's comments about Nazis. A politician, Nikolay Novichkov, ultimately said that the shows should be canceled unless Kanye publicly shows moral support for Russia and the special military operation in Ukraine. And then All Hip Hop or Hot New Hip Hop tells us they'll keep us posted on any further updates surrounding Kanye West. Girl.
Look here. All right. If If he even, mm, 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 you might as
There
well
ain't
go
no
stay out there.
words. There ain't no
No,
words.
no, if because I have a feeling he gonna do it. But if you do it, stay your ass over there. Then stay your ass over there.
He's absolutely gonna do it. I ain't no doubt in my mind he gonna do it. Think he not gonna do it, honey. He's gonna be over there cooning and performing for them. And the fact that they have made themselves very clear, they was like, listen, you better support our special operation in Ukraine if you want to perform over here.
That's
That's
crazy.
wild to me.
That's crazy that they pulling him into politics, their political shit. That's crazy. I
Well,
don't even
he
know why you
started
all.
it. Wasn't he
Yeah, well, I
doing
don't even
like
know why he took his ass over there.
wasn't he doing the Hitler sign and all that stuff and talking about him before?
I don't know. Well, Russia,
Didn't he
I
do
don't
the?
know.
Yeah, well, he did the Nazi, not in Russian necessarily, but Nazi symbols and stuff like that. Didn't he do that?
I don't know, but
I think he was it a swastika he wore or something he did some
Something,
stupid he did. Yeah.
yeah, a swastika or
some
something.
stupid shit.
Well, so he opened the door. They walked in it.
Stay his ass over there. Matter of fact, stay over there, please.
Mhm, and who were the other names they mentioned that performed over there since the invasion? Flo Rida, Lil Pump, and Jason Derulo. That's why don't nobody like your ass.
Nobody, nobody's niggas tapping and dancing for that damn dollar over there. All of Europe, and that's where you gonna go. You're so fucking stupid. It's ridiculous. Anyways, moving on.
Well, our next story, so honey, Miss Grand USA just had her title yanked, honey, after just 1 week. And you all should see, I've just shared here by way of TMZ, and it tells us Miss Grand USA stripes Michaela Lee of title amid hit and run case. But she's pretty. Let's get into it. Miss Grand USA has yanked Michaela Lee's crown just 1 week into her reign, amid some serious legal drama surrounding the beauty queen. The pageant organization announced Wednesday that it was terminating Michaela's reign and releasing her from the Miss Grand USA title and all associated duties, saying the decision was made in accordance with its contractual policies. People was the first to report. The organization didn't specifically say what triggered Michaela's sudden dethroning, but she's reportedly facing 2 felony hit and run charges stemming from a November 2024 crash in Los Angeles. Michaela was arrested days after the crash and later pled not guilty. She's also being sued over the wreck, with a woman claiming Michaela caused the crash, left her seriously injured, and took off in a rideshare without calling 911. There's another potential pageant problem, too. Michaela was reportedly married from 2018 to 2019, and rules state contestants cannot be or have previously been married or pregnant. Michaela had only been crowned Miss Grand USA on August 12th and was still celebrating the win on Instagram the day before the organization pulled the plug. Talk about a short reign. The crown was on and off in 7 days. Damn. That's your stupid ass kid. How you gonna cause an accident and then gonna take off in an Uber and not even call 911? Probably was driving no damn insurance. Stupid. And then, girl, and then she got
He-
married, honey, tried to hide that.
right, he was married before. Like, girl, did you think they wasn't gonna find out?
Look, she was probably like Jackie Washington in Jackie's back. I told you it was annulled. No,
Damn,
baby. They say you can't be married or pregnant.
if she knew that.
Hmm.
Mm, bye,
Well,
girl.
bad look. That's that on that, honey. She can be in somebody's rap video or something now. She'll be all right.
I don't even know why they keep, and I ain't never even heard of this pageant. I'm like, they still doing those?
Yeah, girl.
Them reductive ass pageants. Mm.
And speaking of, I might see if my friend, if she's not busy, I see if she can come over and talk to us about her journey. But I'm gonna get that with her offline first and see if she wanna.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh
Mhm.
yeah. But still, they still reductive. I don't know what they, why they
I
still, why they still got them things. I don't even understand. I
listen.
guess
I
I'm,
agree, but these women, it's a lifestyle for them, and I try to be supportive, but I agree it can be reductive and It's almost like to me, like a slave auction, but for women. Like I don't
Mhm.
yeah,
I
but
don't
that's just
disagree.
my they even do it they got the gay pageants too, like the drag queens. They be honey.
Mhm.
Yeah, they be serious about it.
Mhm. I guess.
Y'all, I could not wait to talk about this next story, honey. So remember what was it? The other day we watched a video of Kayla, Ryan Lochte ex, where she spoke with people and she pretty much threw shade at Ryan, was like, I'm the head parent in charge. I'm not a single parent, I'm the head parent in charge. I have to do this alone because I'm not really getting any help. Well, girl, how about his new boo is talking to TMZ, girl, and she is telling that I am not a home wrecker. Because remember, we learned that they had a relationship. They had some type of a friendship that was there. Kayla and Molly, the new wife, Molly, and they were Kayla alleged that Molly was like telling her, "So you need to leave your husband. Like if he's not good for you, you need to leave." So you all should see I just shared here by way of TMZ. Ryan Lochte's fiance says she is not a home wrecker. So,
Girl, yeah, you are. Shut up. Goodbye.
girl, and the video is about maybe 2 minutes long, and she says some. I don't think she made herself look any better in this video, but let's see what she has to say. Let me share my screen. I was like, girl, you could have kept this in the drafts, girl. But okay.
So Kayla has made it seem like you broke some kind of girl code,
Yeah.
that Ryan was off limits. Do you feel like that was the case, or was Ryan fair game?
So I don't look at him as like fair game, but there was never a time that like Kayla was talking to me in those moments that she says that she was like, "Man, I just really want our marriage to work. I just love him so much. I want to figure this out." Every time it was Ryan's this, Ryan's a piece of crap, Ryan's this, he's a horrible dad, he's a horrible husband, da da da. And I do think that Ryan was a horrible husband to Kayla. I do. I think he was a awful husband. And there's things that he's told me that I'm just like, what in the world? Like, she should have got out sooner. They both should have got out sooner. I did not break up your marriage. I'm not a homewrecker. Your home was broken. When I met Ryan, he was not living in the home. You guys, you had filed for divorce, not Ryan, you.
So, knowing all these things about Ryan, I guess why would you be with him?
Right. And
Best question asked from TMZ ever.
he reached out to me in 2019 and he said, "Will you, my wife is out of town. Do you want to pick me up from the airport?" And I wrote him back and I said, "I am not into married men. Absolutely not." And I never talked to him again until now, until April 2026 or 25. And so that was a conversation we had immediately.
But what turned for you? Because, it was kind of icky,
It
especially all these
was.
things you're hearing about him. Where were you like, okay, I'm going to give this guy a shot?
So, when I first went out with him, I was single and I was just looking to have fun and like have some drinks and hang out and shoot the shit with somebody. And really just, there's not a lot of single people in Gainesville. And his divorce lawyer was my ex husband's divorce lawyer. Like, we had a lot to talk over. And I went on this date with him and I left like, oh crap, I really like this guy.
So, do you think it's fair to say that Kayla got a very different Ryan Lochte than who you're with now?
Absolutely.
Like I said, I don't know what she thought that was gonna do, but it did not make her look any better, honey.
Girl,
I want to puke
okay. So you hear this woman talking bad about how bad this man is,
with her fake lips.
okay? And then you think it's a good idea to run her behind that?
And she
She
think he's
wouldn't
different from the one the wife had. Girl,
even, that was funny. That part was
that
funny
part was
too. I was
funny.
like, girl,
Girl,
you know he's the same, right?
the
Okay.
same man.
You didn't even say, yeah, he went through therapy and he has come out a better person. No, you didn't say none of that. You was just like, he different. No, he not different. He the same. And wow. And for you ran up behind this girl's ex-husband. Like, you may not have caused the divorce, but you were still that girl's friend. and listened to all her shit and then turn around and went and talked to that man. Girl, bye.
And
Yeah,
agreed. He was a crappy husband and a crappy father, but now he's different. Girl.
Oh, he different because he with you. That is
Right.
girl math right there. That's that girl math.
It
I
really,
don't know.
really
I
is.
don't know where how she came up with that answer, but
but
baby, well, good
it's
luck to
becoming more
that.
and more clear why they asses was ran up out of Gainesville, honey. They was like, "Oh, you
Okay,
now you just want to play in people's face."
Right. He
okay,
likes them stupid, obviously.
clearly. And see that girl, the other one, she said, "I ain't stupid. And get your ass up out of here."
He definitely got a type, and stupid is it.
Blonde and stupid. Child. And then fake lips. Ooh, they was ugh. Yuck. Yuck.
Yeah, Miley girl, don't do another interview because this one it, honey.
Mm-mm. Just
Oh,
be quiet. Just be with the man and just be quiet.
and yes, Moon, I agree. That was like the Miss I forget this white lady name, but she was asking some of the best questions they have had from TMZ in a while.
Oh, that was, yes. So you hear all of that. What made you think? What made you run up behind that? That's the first time I ever heard a good follow up question.
The journalist went to work, honey. Look, maybe Harvey finally gave them a break and they can finally take just a deep breath and get themselves together because he usually don't let them do that allegedly.
Well, I mean,
Ooh,
that,
her
it
lips is
was just right
making
there.
me nauseated. I'm like, girl, mm-mm, mm-mm. You done overdone it with those fillers.
Hmm.
Mhm. Well, that is that on that. Well, let's
Next.
talk about Davy Chase, honey. Y'all remember Hush, the young girl who was in the ring, who unfortunately died while living on the streets. Um,
Oh,
yeah, girl. Well,
okay.
how about their parents is fighting over the money, honey? And you all should see where it says here by way of TMZ, the ring star Davy Chase is a father objects to mom's request to administer estate. New legal docs claim this is about to get so freaking messy, y'all. Well, Davy Chase's father wants the judge to deny her mother's request to be appointed as the administrator of her six-figure estate, TMZ has learned. According to new legal docs obtained by TMZ, John Schwalier opposes Kathy Chase's motion to be appointed the administrator of the Ring Stars estate. Instead, the docs say Schwalier nominated a woman named Megan Bowling, who describes herself as a neutral licensed professional fiduciary, to object to Kathy's petition and take on the job instead. If that's denied, the docs request the appointment of a public administrator. The docs note Davy was emancipated from Kathy as a minor due to allegations of financial irregularities by Kathy, and they were separated ever since. The filing says Davy was actually estranged from both parents at the time of her death, which is why a neutral administrator should be in charge. As TMZ previously reported, Kathy asked to be in charge of Davy's estate, reasoning she was never married and had no children. Davy was living in an RV on Los Angeles Skid Row when she died in June. Her cause of death was determined to be acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is known as AIDS, and drug use, and was ruled to be natural. Girl. I mean, at least the father is trying to me, this article seems like the father is trying to be fair. Like she was estranged from the both of us.
No, he tried to propose his own person. It should be
Oh,
neutral. A judge
oh,
should appoint it.
okay, you're right. Yep. Because who is this lady again? It says nominate a woman named Megan Boland who describes herself as
Hmm.
a neutral licensed professional fiduciary.
Hmm. The judge should appoint someone that neither one of them pick, and that be that. And
Yeah.
yeah, and now that I know the mama was already looking, did some funny shit. Yeah, no, girl, you don't need to be nothing. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's all people do is fight over money, child.
Yep.
Child dead. They fighting over the dead child money.
Yep. Just
Well,
like Takeoff's parents. It's messy. And then his
well, we'll
Takeoff's daddy is he should be ashamed of himself for real.
And I hate to see what Hayden's parents is gonna do. We'll see how that pan out. Hopefully, her stuff go to her daughter. That's the
Yeah, I think
only.
so. Yeah, I think there was a, I truly don't think the mom then again, she might be, but I don't think because she know, like, all side eyes are, like, looking at her right now.
Don't
So,
nobody care. When it's about money, they feel entitled.
yeah.
I wouldn't put it past her, even though they were estranged, and I don't put it past her. Trying to get some of that money, child. When
Mm,
people die, people get real crazy.
that is absolutely true. Well, speaking of crazy, honey, Dr. Phil, let's talk about his ass and how his ass is being sued for, discrimination and, wrongful termination. And you all should see this. I'm sharing my screen from Document Teams, who reported on this, but they tells us about this new filing. Dr. Phil McGraw and Envoy Media are being sued by a longtime former publicity executive who alleges he was discriminated against because of his sexual orientation and ultimately wrongfully terminated. Jerry Sherrill filed the lawsuit in Los Angeles County Superior Court against Philip McGraw, Envoy Media Company, and does 1 to 10. Sherrill says he began working for McGraw's operation in 2016 and was later promoted to vice president of publicity. According to the complaint, Sherrill worked with McGraw for nearly a decade, handling publicity, media relations, interviews, press communications, and crisis management work across the Dr. Phil, Mary Street Media, and later Envoy Media operations. Sherrill alleges problems began as McGraw's operation transitioned to Texas through Merritt Street Media. He claims that nearly 20 co-workers relocated to Texas while he alone remained in Los Angeles and alleges he came to believe he was excluded because he is openly gay. The complaint also includes allegations concerning statements McGraw personally made to Sherrill. Sherrill claims that during a fight on McGraw's private plane in early 2025, McGraw said, "Geez, he's gayer than a fruit basket and not listening." Sherrill further alleges that during another trip, McGraw questioned what Sherrill meant when referring to his husband, and asked which person in Sherrill's marriage filed the stereotypical husband role. Sherrill argues those alleged comments are evidence of discriminatory motive. He also claims that after Merritt Street's financial collapse and the launch of Envoy Media, his employment classification was changed from employee to independent contractor, even though, according to him, his actual job duties remained essentially the same. Sherrill alleges the change resulted in approximately a 30% pay cut, loss of his 401k, reduced health insurance benefits, and responsibility for self employment taxes. He also accuses the defendants of repeatedly paying him late during 2025 and into 2026. Then, on March 31st, 2026, Sherrill says Envoy CEO Ken Solomon informed him that his position was being placed on hiatus because of financial considerations and slowing productions. Sherrill alleges that explanation was pretextual. According to the complaint, McGraw continued recording approximately 30 or more shows and podcasts during April and May, while Envoy also hired and retained at least 2 additional workers during that same period. Sherrill says no other employee was placed on hiatus, terminated, or asked to take a salary reduction at that time. He is asserting 7 causes of action, including sexual orientation discrimination, failure to prevent discrimination, employee misclassification, failure to timely pay wages, inaccurate wage statements, waiting time penalties, wrongful termination in violation of public policy. Sherrill is seeking lost wages and benefits, emotional distress damages, statutory penalties, attorney's fees, punitive damages, and other relief. He also demanded a jury trial. Girl. Mm-mm. Well, that's that on that. We gonna see how I'm gonna definitely follow this case and see what comes of this and see if Mr. Sherrill has a case. So yeah, because I guess it does look funny if they tell you to take a hiatus, but not everybody else because of what financial considerations, but not nobody else. And the move to Texas, how so what I don't understand by way of reading this, like, did he himself say he wanted to stay in LA while everybody moved to Texas, or did everybody move to Texas and not really let him know what was going on? I think it's the latter. But then again, I'm gonna keep following this story. And that is that on that. And what else we got, honey? Oh, girl. So Reggie Watts, um, he was on the Late Late Show with James Corden. He was one of the he was in the band. And I think he was a drummer or something. I forgot what he does, but girl, mm, his girlfriends. Long story short, his girlfriend committed suicide. The family is coming out and pretty much saying, well, he led her to doing that, and he's responding saying, no, I didn't. I had did no such thing. So give me one second. Let me get the link here. And you all should see where I've just shared here by way of Us Weekly. Late Late Show alum Reggie Watts denies responsibility for ex-girlfriend's death by suicide. So let's get into it. Matter of fact, let me turn on the Edge browser has a reader mode now. I like this. Yeah. Okay, so former Late Late Show with James Corden band leader Reggie Watts has denied having any responsibility for the suicide of his ex-girlfriend, Catherine Early McCullough. Rolling Stone published a lengthy investigative report on Thursday, August 20, about McCullough's death at age 36 in Peru last month. The outlet interviewed Catherine's younger sister, Colleen McCullough, and multiple friends who suggested that she developed an addiction to ketamine and experienced a mental health crisis once she started dating Watts, who's 54. I feel very strongly that the sister I knew, I'm sorry, I feel very strongly that the sister that I knew before this relationship would still be here if she had never met him, Colleen told Rolling Stone. Watts's lawyer, Andrew Bretler, insisted that it was dangerously false and a preconceived narrative to suggest the comedian was in any way responsible for Catherine's suicide. Bretler described Catherine as an experienced drug user who did not need any so called encouragement from Watts to experiment with drugs. The comedian is an outspoken supporter of ketamine use, having opened up about his experience using the powerful prescription drug during a 2025 interview. You leave when you're on ketamine. You're just pure consciousness observing itself, Watts said. It's also so close to observing itself that it's almost on the edge of paradox. It's like dancing on the edge of a black hole. That experience when you're coming out of it is very interesting because you're becoming lucid, but you've just been through one of the most hyper real experiences, at least for me. Catherine's loved ones told Rolling Stone that while she experimented with drugs before dating Watts, she later told a friend that she tried LSD, MDMA, DMT, MMCs, cocaine, Ritalin, Adderall, ketamine, Xanax, Valium, and modafinil in the recent years before her death. He really took her to the edge, that friend alleged. In August 2025, Catherine experienced a mental breakdown during an alleged drug fueled trip to Berlin with Watts. Her friends say that Watts eventually agreed to bring her home to Los Angeles where she could receive psychological care. Watts' lawyer acknowledged that he did not accompany Catherine's friends to take her to the hospital where she was placed on a psychiatric hold. Per his legal representative, Watts eventually visited Catherine during her hospitalization. Catherine was diagnosed with bipolar disorder during her stay in treatment. When the couple later broke up, friends say that Catherine was distraught because she had nowhere to live and was in dire financial straits due to putting her own legal career on hold to work as Watts's unpaid assistant. In March, Catherine cut off contact with family and friends and traveled to Peru, where she took her own life. A note she left behind apologized to loved ones that her peace came at their expense. Watts mourned Catherine in a March Instagram post without directly acknowledging that they previously split up. He later deleted the post at the request of Catherine's family. Catherine, I will miss you so much. I know you are in pain, and while I tried everything I could to reflect the light you brought into this world, the sorrow became too much to overcome. You changed my life, Watts wrote at the time. You opened up my vulnerability and taught me how to receive love from someone so close. He went on, we built a life together, went on adventures, and we took chances together. You had a natural radiance that people could feel from so far away, a light you carried despite the difficult path you walked from childhood. I've been processing so much. I know you can hear me, and I honor the intentionality of your journey. You planned your time in Lima beautifully, the coast, the art, the meals shared with a friend. While it is so difficult for those of us left behind, I understand your need for peace. Per Catherine's sister Colleen, Watts told his ex's family a week later that he discovered details about her final days in Peru by looking through her iCloud. Watts had allegedly initially accessed Catherine's iCloud to help her family locate her in Peru. It was torturous to not know anything, and he knew the entire week, she said. He didn't consider her family at all. He didn't care. He was like, I have this information and I'll decide who needs it and who doesn't. Watts's attorney insisted that he never had any idea Catherine was suicidal. Not once during that period did Catherine or any of her family members or friends ever suggest to Reggie that she was suicidal, the lawyer stressed. The Rolling Stone investigative report also includes interviews with multiple women who recalled that Watts encouraged them to experiment with drugs recklessly when they were together. Watts has denied any wrongdoing in those instances. Watts is best known for performing an improvisational blend of comedy and music during his 8 years as the band leader on The Late Late Show with James Corden. He also served as the in-house musician on IFC's cult hit series Comedy Bang Bang. It goes on. Us has reached out to Watts' legal representative for comment, and they end with two statements. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. And also, if you or someone you know is struggling with substance abuse, contact the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, also known as SAMHSA, and their national helpline is 1-800-662-HELP or 4357. Yeah, girl. I know there was a lot of information, but girl. So the families is pretty sure that per that investigative report, she would have never tried this amount of drugs before she met him.
Mm,
He
I don't know if I believe that because white folks love their drugs, but it sounds like he was an enabler and a stressor in her life. How do you leave your law career to be an unpaid assistant? Yeah, he was not a good guy.
Mhm. And on top of that, the elephant in the room, he was 54 and she was 36. Like that
Mhm.
again, I live for an older man, but usually men like that, you tend to only get with younger girls for one reason, and that's to control them and essentially ruin their lives. So,
And that's what it sounded like he did.
mhm. Well, that is that on that, honey. Well, this next story I got for Chili and Happy, my 90 Day Fiance fans. There has been an update on Patrick and Thais. And you also see I've just shared here by way of TMZ. 90 Day Fiance star Patrick Mendez claims Thais Ramon cheated on him. Girl, let's get into it. Patrick Mendez claims his estranged wife, Thais Ramon, stepped out on him. And when he discovered her alleged affair, he claims she kicked him out of the house. The 90 Day Fiancé star made the allegations against Thais in a new legal document filed Wednesday, telling the court he found out about Thais' alleged affair on or around April 11th, 2026. He says that after he found out Thais was cheating on him, she demanded he leave their marital home. Patrick says he vacated the house on May 6th. A couple of weeks after that, Patrick says Thais threatened him with a knife while holding their 3-year-old daughter, Elise. Patrick says he called the cops and Thais was arrested. Patrick previously asked for sole legal and physical custody of Elise, but it looks like he's changed his tune because in the doc he's asking for joint legal and physical custody. TMZ reported on Thais' arrest earlier this year, and they even showed us like the body cam footage. According to the police report, Patrick accused Thais of slapping him, but apparently made no mention of the alleged knife threat. We've reached out to Thais. So far, no word back. Y'all know what I'm gonna say, right? Women in male-dominated fields, honey. Look, you found out he found out I cheated. Let me kick his ass out. Oh, so we have a comment saying she has a temper and he's a sex addict. Mm-mm. Well, that's that on that, honey. And and honestly, that probably explains why she had the knife. Like, 'cause, you got me fucked up, sir. Well, that's that on that. So this next story here. So the one of former BMF associate who goes by J-Bo, honey, they done got him caught up, honey. And you all should see I've just shared here by way of the source. And it tells us former BMF cohort Chad J-Bo Brown faces federal drug and weapons charges after DEA seized 53 kilograms of cocaine, guns from his St. Louis home. Girl, let's get into it. More than 2 decades after the federal government dismantled the Black Mafia family's sprawling drug operation, one of the organization's most recognizable former associates is back in federal custody on a remarkably familiar allegation. Chad E. Jabo Brown, a longtime associate of BMF co founders Demetrius Big Meech Flannery, was arrested Friday, August 14, after a Drug Enforcement Administration agents allegedly discovered approximately 53 kilograms, roughly 117 pounds, of cocaine and two firearms inside a St. Louis County residence authorities suspected was being used as a stash house. Brown, who's 54, of Georgia, appeared in federal court in St. Louis on Monday and is currently charged with one count of possession with intent to distribute more than 10 kilograms of cocaine. It's important to note that despite the discovery of the firearm, the Justice Department's August 17 announcement lists the narcotic offense as the charge contained in the complaint. Additional charges could potentially follow, but none should be presumed at this stage. According to the criminal complaint, the DEA received information on August 13 that a substantial cocaine shipment had arrived in the St. Louis area. Investigators subsequently focused on Brown and a residence in St. Louis County that agents believed was being used to store narcotics. The following day, agents executed a court authorized search warrant. Inside a bedroom closet, investigators say they discovered duffel bags containing approximately 49 kilograms of cocaine. Another 4 kilograms were allegedly discovered from the kitchen, allegedly recovered from the kitchen, bringing the seizure to roughly 53 kilos. Agents also recovered two firearms from a bedroom. Federal investigators say evidence inside the residence further connected Brown to the property. Reporting based on the complaint indicates authorities found luggage and prescription medication bearing his name, while Brown allegedly possessed a key to the front door when he was arrested. For anyone familiar with BMF history, J-Bo's name isn't new. Brown was once identified by federal authorities as a significant figure within the cocaine distribution organization built by Detroit brothers Big Meech and Terry Southwest T. Flannery. BMF eventually developed a nationwide narcotics network while simultaneously building a highly visible presence within early 2000s hip hop through BMF Entertainment. Brown was caught up in the original federal investigation and ultimately pled guilty in 2007 to cocaine trafficking and money laundering charges. He received a 20-year federal prison sentence before eventually returning to society after serving more than a decade. His latest arrest also comes while Brown is reportedly still under federal supervised release stemming from a separate bank fraud case involving a Paycheck Protection Program loan. That circumstance could create additional legal problems beyond the new drug prosecution. The sheer quantity involved in the latest seizure makes the case notable on its own. 53 kilograms isn't street level weight. According to the government's allegations, investigators weren't dealing with several ounces or even a few kilos, but more than 100 pounds of cocaine allegedly being stored inside one residence. Still, Brown has only been charged, not convicted, in the new case. A criminal complaint contains allegations, and prosecutors will have to prove those allegations beyond a reasonable doubt if the matter proceeds to trial. Nearly 20 years after Jabo became one of the names associated with the federal government's original takedown of BMF, however, his latest arrest has inevitably brought that history back into the conversation. This time, federal prosecutors say the number at the center of the case is 53 kilos. Ooh, girl. And he looks so sad in his mugshot. I'm sorry. This is, ugh. Let me share my screen. Poor thing. Ooh, honey. Somebody tell him to put some cucumbers over them eyes, honey. Ooh. But that's that on that. He's only 54. Yeah. Mm, okay. Well, that's that on that, y'all. Mm. I don't even know if I'm gonna say I'm gonna follow this story because what I'm gonna follow for 53 grams a kilo, baby. They got your they think that nigga ghost from Power. Like that's a lot of weight. Well, that is that on that. So the next couple of stories are about some rappers. You all have probably not heard of them. I personally have not heard of them or their music, but we will be talking about some legal troubles that they're going through. Like this first story I have. So this person name is Montana of 300. I don't even think I need to even ask y'all if y'all know because y'all that name don't even sound. But anyway, you all should see I've just shared here by way of all hip hop. Montana of 300 says he is innocent after Peoria jury conviction. So let's get into it. Montana of 300 is preparing to appeal after a Peoria jury convicted him of aggravated battery and domestic battery, along with resisting or obstructing a peace officer. Representative Tiffany Gaines issued a statement saying Montana, whose legal name is Walter Anthony Bradford, still maintains his innocence after the verdict. We respectfully disagree with the jury's verdict and intend to pursue all available appellate remedies. Mr. Bradford maintains his innocence. Out of respect for the ongoing legal process, we will have no further comment regarding the evidence at this time. The Peoria County State's Attorney's Office said jurors returned guilty verdicts on all three charges following a February 2025 confrontation involving Montana's former girlfriend. Prosecutors said the case began at a Peoria salon where the woman was working when Montana arrived, with police officers still nearby. They said Montana used the salon's rear entrance, then followed the woman outside and grabbed her after she ran screaming from the building. Officers ordered Montana to stop, but prosecutors said he ignored them before police used a taser and took him into custody. Montana's own reaction focused on what he said happened on the witness stand, where he claimed the woman denied he ever touched her. He also argued that no other witness or officer observed any physical contact, yet the jury still accepted the prosecution's version. Montana later framed the conviction around race while warning younger men about controlling their reactions during confrontations that could become criminal cases. I hope all the young boys are paying attention. As boys and men, we cannot afford to lose our cool, not even a little bit. The Chicago born rapper built his name through a steady run of viral remixes before releasing his 2016 album, Fire in the Church. All Hip Hop interviewed Montana that year about accountability and his career as Fire in the Church put his independent run in the wider spotlight. His catalog expanded through independent projects including Don't Doubt the God, Pray for the Devil, and Rap God. Montana is scheduled to return to court for sentencing October 16, according to the Peoria County State's Attorney's Office. Mm-mm. No, don't
Who?
tell. Somebody who allegedly can control his damn anger. Cause and you ain't gonna try to get advice to young boys. Talking about as boys and men, we cannot afford to lose our cool, not even a little bit. Yeah, you're right. Because losing your cool usually ends up to you killing people, killing women. The numbers show it. Like, no.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So that's that. Hi, Slayonka. Hi, Hammy. Well, that is that on that, honey. And I have three more stories left. And this next one, so there's another rapper that EDP 445. Girl, his nasty behind. You all should see I've just shared this story here from Hot New Hip Hop, and it tells us Kern County DA to reopen EDP 445 investigation following tell all documentary. All because just like Keefy D, honey, can't keep his mouth shut. Well, I'm actually glad he's opening his nasty mouth about this. They need to put his ass on. Anyway, EDP 445, real name Bryant Moreland, is currently in some hot water following statements he made in a documentary last week. The documentary is called The Sick Mind of EDP 445 and was produced by YouTuber Mike Clune. It is a documentary that has received quite a bit of history. EDP 445 admits to being attracted to minors in the documentary. However, the documentary also takes a more humorous approach to the subject matter. Viewers didn't like this tone as they felt like it completely normalizes EDP and his mindset. As it turns out, the documentary did lead to at least one positive outcome. According to Fox 58, the Kern County District Attorney's Office has reopened a case against EDP from 2021. This file involves the infamous sting operation that was posted by Alex Rosen online. EDP 445 was caught trying to message a 13-year-old girl who was actually a decoy. We are re-examining the case in light of the statements made by the suspect in the documentary, the DA office revealed. Mike Clume says he tried to get the DA's office to speak in the documentary, but they refused to do so. Given the fact that they had originally closed the case, it makes sense that they would decline an interview. So while he didn't face any legal consequences due to the way the sting operation was handled, he received a massive amount of public backlash and was getting fired from jobs, Clune said. EDP 445's comments in this new documentary are disgusting to say the least. There has been widespread internet backlash, and Kern County was certainly feeling the pressure to take another look at what went on here. And then they end with this remains a developing story. Well, hopefully it develops to his ass.
Good. You fucking pedophile ass bitch. How you gonna do it and say it on camera? Ooh, boy, this motherfucker's stupid.
And trying to
But
be
I'm
human
glad he
about
was stupid. Because they don't think nothing's wrong with his sickness. But you know what? I'm glad you was that fucking stupid. Cause you
it.
need to be off the streets. Oh, bitch.
We have a comment saying big, fat, and nasty
Okay,
ass.
motherfucker. Stupid motherfucker. Your mama should have swallowed.
Mhm. No, when you get caught trying to message what you thought was a 13-year-old girl for sex, honey, like that is why
Nuts.
is even Mike
Absolutely
Bloomberg
nuts.
interviewing him? Like, no, like you don't platform these type of people.
His ass need to be looked at too.
Mhm.
Oh, nasty fuckers. Ugh.
Well, that is that on that, honey. And the next story I have, so remember we talked about Jason Arde, the Cambridge professor who unfortunately committed
Mm,
suicide.
yeah, I heard
Well,
that.
it looks like Nathan Kopnis, the person who kind of led that whole investigation or wrote leading to that investigation, honey. He was suspended. And you also see where it says here by way of TMZ, professor who uh accused late Cambridge academic of plagiarism suspended from university. Well, let's get into it, honey.
Fucking white supremacist ass bitch. Good.
Mhm. I done told y'all about because you gonna see the Substack. It was the Substack, honey, that he wrote. Y'all get y'all asses off Substack, honey. You know they letting Nazis over there monetize and shit like that. Y'all, and they not sorry about it. They went on record and said that they are okay with that. So take that information with you. I mean, I write on chat most. So I'm just saying. Anyway, but this starts. The professor who accused former Cambridge academic Jason Arty of plagiarism before he quit his job was found dead and is now in hot water, has been suspended from his job at a Belgian university. Nathan Kopnis, a postdoctoral researcher for Ghent University, revealed the news Thursday on Twitter, adding he believes he will be fired. In a separate tweet, he said he was under investigation by the university for discriminating against Arty. Ghent confirmed they have suspended a staff member, adding, the university is assessing whether there are sufficient grounds to refer the case to the competent disciplinary body for further consideration. The university additionally noted the death of Professor Arty should prompt reflection. We hope that lessons will be learned from what has happened regarding the way we treat one another both within and outside the academic world, particularly when people become the subject of public controversy. In case you missed it, Kopnis published a Substack article titled DEI Fraud and Cover Up at Cambridge, in which he accused Arte of copying the 2009 thesis of Paula Zwaziak Myers, who studied at Brunel University. Kopnis ran Arte's thesis through the plagiarism detection tool CopyLeaks and said his work had striking similarities to over 100 passages to Zwaziak Myers. He went on to claim Cambridge only hired Arte, the youngest black professor at the English institution, to advance the cause of racial diversity. Arte quit his job at Cambridge after the Substack was published, which led to people questioning his work and resume, and was found dead at a South London residence last week. His cause of death has not yet been released. And then this ends with if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. Mhm. So we gonna see, honey. I guess shout out to Getz University for taking a step to do the right thing. I guess. Well, that's that on that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he was found not guilty of plagiarism,
Yep.
but the damage was already done, and he was bombarded. I hate that he couldn't withstand that stuff because he was actually a brilliant person who taught himself to read and write and everything at such a late age and was innocent.
Mm,
So
mm-mm.
sad.
Innocent and now he's dead. Wow. Too
But
much.
that white man, he believes that everything white people are superior to about everything funny looking ass white man. It'd be the funny looking ass white ones that just weird. And yeah. And so he came after him. He had been trying to come after that school for shit and he was just a target
Yep.
that he used to do this.
It's so
Mm,
fucking sad. I mean, damn. Oh, I hope that tortures him for the rest of his life.
Yep. Same here. Fuck 'em.
mhm.
Well, the last story I have is I guess a good one, depending on who you are. Like if you are into zoos or animals and animal preservation and stuff like that. But Slash from Guns N' Roses, remember we just talked about him trying to make things even with his ex-wife, in court,
Mm.
and she said, "Mm-mm, no." But in the midst of all this, honey, he has actually had a new breed of snakes, a new breed of snake that was actually named after him. And don't worry, y'all, this article don't have any pictures of the snake because I was looking, because I don't want to see that shit. I don't like to look at snakes and spiders, honey. But you all should see I've just shared here by way of people. New snake species found in New Guinea named after Slash. And he says he is extremely honored and humbled. So let me share my screen because I know it sometimes, like with the playback, the people thumbnail usually shows up as a black screen for some reason. I don't. People are so problematic at times. But anyway, let me share my screen. And matter of fact, let me show the reader mode. It looks so much cleaner. Ooh, don't that look good? Ooh. Oh, can y'all even see that? I don't think y'all can see that. Oh, there we go. Now you should be able to see it in this new reader mode. Ow. Well, there's a new snake in Slash's snake pick. Scientists with the Field Museum discovered a new species of ground snake scientifically referred to as Lilaphus slashy, and I'm sure I mispronounced that, but they officially named it after the Guns N' Roses guitarist. The serpent was dubbed Slash's ground snake, the museum said in a news release. The ground snake was discovered in New Guinea, an island located just north of Australia. Slash's ground snake is non venomous and does not pose a threat to humans. Photos of the snake show a simple scale pattern, dark brown in color, with a tan underbelly. As a longtime herpophile, I am extremely honored and humbled to have Lilaphus slashy from New Guinea named after me, Slash, who 61 said in a statement. It is really exciting. I never would have imagined this moment would arrive. The Field Museum credits the musician as a lifelong reptile lover and an avid supporter of zoos and museums. Slash's love of reptiles has occasionally also inspired his musical choices. He formed rock supergroups Slash the Snake Pick in 1994, which included members of Guns N' Roses, Alice in Chains, and Jellyfish. Sarah Ruane, one of the scientists who discovered the new snake, shared why she wanted to name the snake after the rock guitarist. Guns N' Roses has been one of my favorite bands since I was in the first grade, and by fifth grade, I had already told my teacher that I wanted to be a herpetologist, a scientist who studies reptiles, when I grow up. Moraine, the Field Museum's associate curator of herpetology and senior author of a paper in Zootaxa describing the new species, said in a statement. So when I was 12 years old and I got my copy of Reptiles magazine in the mail, and it had a picture of Slash holding his pet uh, reticulated python on the cover. I'm sure I said that wrong too. I thought This guy is so cool, recounted. Um, I reread his interview and he talked about how much he loves museums and zoos and natural history, and about how when he was a kid, he'd go outside and look for snakes. It was all that stuff that I really related to, and it made me think he'd be a great person to name a new species after, Ruane added. The new study was conducted by Ruane with research contributions from Tianqi Huang of Rutgers University, Chris Austin from the Louisiana State University Museum of Natural Science, Justin Berenstein of Slippery Rock University and the American Museum of Natural History, Bulisa Iova of the Papua New Guinea National Museum and Art Gallery, Jackson Roberts of the Virginia Museum of Natural History, and Jeffrey Frederick of the University of Kentucky. So congratulations. Got him a whole snake named after him, honey. Work. And it was the snake, it says it's long, a simple scale pattern, dark brown in color with a tan underbelly, honey. We have a comment saying you like trouser snakes. See, I was actually going to try to get through this whole story about making a joke about Slash's snake, but but you the one brought it up. But that's that. Congratulations. Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not gonna Google a picture of this snake. I don't want to see it. I don't. Mm-mm. I'm not that kind of bitch. Well, y'all, that was actually all the tea that I had for us today. So before we head out and before I wish you all a fabulous weekend, did any of you have any tea that you want to share or any tea that I might have missed? Or
I
not?
have nothing. I have nothing. Nothing.
Oh shit, girl. Ooh, here go a story. I just kind of scammed TMZ real quick. So P from Quality Control, they said he was in ICU after a heart attack. Girl, let me share this story here from TMZ.
A lot of that going around.
Yes, Lord. And you all should see, I just shared here by way of TMZ, Quality Control co-founder Pierre P. Thomas hospitalized after heart attack. So, okay, so I'm just going to read the update from the story. So the update says, Quality Control Music says Pierre P. Thomas is alive and currently receiving medical care. The label asks that everyone keep P and his family in their thoughts and prayers and respectfully give him the privacy and space they need during this time. Quality Control adds, we deeply appreciate everyone's concern, support, prayers, and loving energy right now. Damn. How old is he? Let me see if they got it in the article.
Who's quality control? What is that?
So they responsible for Migos, Lil Baby, City Girls. How I
Oh,
discovered.
they're com- uh, talent company.
Hmm. In fact, the first time I ever heard of City Girls, it was Quality Control had a like an album where they had a bunch of artists on there, and the City Girls had a song "Fuck That Nigga, fuck that nigga." That was my shit. But yeah, damn, they don't have his age in this article. Let me see if I can Google it. How old is he?
He can't be nothing but 40 something, right? That's what it looked like.
Let me see here. Um, age. Damn, I ain't talking about the news journalist who's 64 years old.
Uh-oh.
Yep, Moon, you're right. He's only 45. Yep, he says he was born in 1981. Ow, so just a year short of a zillennial. Shout out to my a zillennial. Wow. Well, we wish you a speedy recovery, P. That's horrible.
That's young, but I was just having this conversation. I said, I be forgetting that I didn't reach the age where people be having heart attacks and shit and strokes and things that I'm like, sometimes I'll be like, wait, what? I'm confused. When did I get here? Who dropped me off in this neighborhood? I don't think I belong here. But my back says otherwise. So, am I popping knees?
Okay, it looks like there's been a a Hayden Panettiere update. Well, the boyfriend rather. So about the Narcan that was found at the South Carolina apartment. TMZ reports that Brian was the one who gave it to her. He tried to use it on her. We kind of figured that. I feel like we kind of put that together when we were talking about it.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I
But
don't think he was abusive, but I don't think he was trying to kill. I don't think he killed her. He was just her drug boyfriend, and
mhm,
they did drugs together.
unfortunately. And this starts off Hayden Panettiere's boyfriend, Brian Hickerson, gave her Narcan after he and his brother, Zach Hickerson, found her unconscious the day she died, at least according to Zach. Zach tells TMZ Brian gave her Narcan. Zach says he went to their Greenville Airbnb after not hearing from them, woke Brian up from a nap, and then the brothers discovered an unconscious Hayden. With Zach calling 911 and Brian gave her Narcan, a medication administered nasally to reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. In a statement to TMZ on Friday, Zach says there are a lot of assumptions, speculations, and accusations currently swirling. The truth will come out as the authorities complete the release and additional details from the investigation. And that is important because the people who loved and adore Hayden deserve the truth. He continued, at this time, I want to clarify my involvement in effort to keep the focus on the fact that we lost one of the most precious individuals on this earth and allow those that cared about her to mourn without additional noise, chaos, and misinformation being created and propagated by the media as well as the public. Zach tells us what happened that day when Hayden died, saying, on Sunday morning, I woke up at my Airbnb, got dressed, and went to church. I exchanged messages that morning with Brian on my way. We planned on all us getting lunch and playing indoor golf after the service. He continued, when I left church, I called and texted them both. When I didn't reach Brian or Hayden, I just assumed maybe they fell back asleep, so I drove over and went to the Airbnb. When I got there, I knew the code to the building, but not the door code to the Airbnb. Zach then detailed how he and Brian both found Hayden saying, "I knocked loudly with apparent with I'm sorry, I knocked loudly, which apparently woke Brian up from a nap. They were both taken on the pull-out couch bed in the living room. When we went in and tried to wake Hayden up for lunch, we realized she was unconscious. He recalled, I immediately called 911 and Brian gave her Narcan. We then jointly performed CPR while 911 was on speaker until fire and EMS arrived. At that point, we watched as they tried every measure possible to save her life. Zach tells us he's distraught over Hayden's death, saying, I am beyond heartbroken and devastated by this tragic and traumatic loss. Hayden was one of my dearest and closest friends that I loved and cared about for the last 8 years. He concluded, out of respect for her loved ones, the speculation and sensationalism of her death needs to end until the facts can be released from the investigation. TMZ first reported that Narcan was found in the room. A device used to dispense it was left behind on a mattress, but TMZ didn't know who administered the dose and who received it. Hayden's death is under investigation, and TMZ first reported the DEA is involved. Mm-mm. Well, that's that on that, honey. Yeah, I mean, you say that now, but if the investigation show some foul play, then what? I don't because there's a bunch of whispers, honey. Some whispers are saying like Brian has a temper. So we have a comment saying so basically he was sleeping next to a dead body. And because based off of what Zach was saying, because I remember the first report said he was in one room and she was in another, like in a I don't child. I don't know. We'll let them do it. Good question. Well, that is that on that. And for real this time, now that was all the tea that I had for us today. So I just wanted to double check. Was there any tea that anybody wanted to bring up or anything I might have missed? Okay, y'all. Well, it is always a pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come and sip tea with me. We will be back Monday for another live show starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you can make it. Don't forget to subscribe to a bitch. Head over to auntiederrick.com, hit that big green subscribe button at the top left, and join my free mailing list. I send you hugs to your inbox every day. And until Monday, I hope you all have a fabulous weekend.
Bye, everybody.